Hello everyone, Impy Hater here, and welcome back to my newcomer's guide for Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. This is part 22. So, in the last episode, we took down the Demon of Hatred and found out that he was the sculptor. We ended up kind of progressing back that way and talked to the old woman who was in the same place that the Ashina Tengu was in, which is, again, Ishin Ashina just in disguise. And we had a short conversation with her. We also ended up kind of completing Anayama's quest, got the promissory note, which is going to give us a 10% off coupon for all of our purchases going forward. Now, before we progress, I'm going to suggest a couple of things. Important places to go. We're going to head over to the Dilapidated Temple. And even though the sculptor is dead, we can still go and get our upgrades. You're just going to be examining the place where he usually is yourself. So, no worries there, even though you've progressed his storyline beyond that point. And then we really have two places that we can go at this point, but I'm going to recommend a place to farm. I'll go ahead and enhance my attack power while we're at it. So, we talked previously about where you can best farm money, and that would be, in my opinion anyway, at the Fountainhead Palace, going through the flower viewing stage, basically kind of doing mostly death blows on the enemies that are there. That's a great way to get 3,000 or more sen pretty easily. However, if you're looking for getting skill points at this point, maybe you haven't been able to keep up with me at this point, you can head over to the Sanctuary. And there are 3 enemies that are basically right next to this idol. And all 3 of them can be pretty easily dealt with if you have Sabimaru. Now, I don't recommend that you waste the balloons on this because these tend to come in best whenever you're dealing with lots of enemies. And these are going to be literally 3 enemies and you're going to come back to the idol. 3 enemies and then come back to the idol. But in this case, we're going to kind of walk forward. Now, you might get lucky and get a death blow off this guy, but I don't usually get that lucky. But doing Sabimaru on him will end up making him very easy to deal with. Same with these guys. Use it twice. Oh, I thought I was dead. Again, works really well to get their posture gauge built up. And you get 1,000 experience per enemy in about a minute or so. So utilize that if you need to get more skill points. Otherwise, you kind of have 2 choices at this point. I'm going to go ahead and progress the path of the final boss so that we can kind of get to a point where we can go back and forth between the 2 final bosses of the game. Because we basically have Owl, the father version, and we have the final boss of the game who I won't reveal until you get to that boss. But if you want to do that, which will also get us another prayer bead, so it'll get us our final prayer bead. We're going to head to Ashina Castle. Now, be aware that the Ashina, or the abandoned dungeon entrance has been blocked off at this point. So the guard who is there, I think, blocked it off and won't let you get past anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and start from the antechamber. I probably should have gotten the Ashina Castle idol in the last episode, but I totally forgot on it, so we're going to be going this way. So, pop out here. Got one of these ninjas on the roof. Yeah, at this point, you should be pretty good with them. And then there's a fight going on right here. So kind of up to you if you want to give a death blow on either of them. I find these guys irritating. Anyway, go ahead and kill them, and then we got a Gokon Sugar. And then we're going to drop down here and grab the Ashina Reservoir Idol. Now there's a cheese strat that we can use for this particular fight. In fact, there's two cheese strats. We're going to Puppeteer Ninjutsu for the first one. And we want to use Gashin Spirit Fall or something to make us harder to see. There's also an eavesdrop opportunity here, so you can do that. And we want to death blow the one on the left and make him our puppet. Come on, fight the guy that's attacking you, bro. Alright, so I'll get the items here in a bit. I'm going to climb over here. We're gonna climb up here and watch the battle from a safe distance. And he is dead. Now you'll notice that we're not de-aggroing this guy. What you can do though is you can quit the game. Now that the other guy is dead. We're going to continue. And then we're going to death blow this guy once he turns around. Kind of a cheap way to do things, but it works. Alright, so the other stuff for this guy still applies. He's the same kind of guy that we've fought before. After you do that, he'll do a thrusting attack. And with an Ichimonji double. Another Ichimonji double. And that's going to do it for your final prayer bead necklace. Go ahead and consume our final one for the 10th prayer bead necklace. And now our maximum vitality and posture have been reached. So, got a few items to get out here. We're going to grab Fulminated Mercury, Ministering Dowsing Powder, and a pellet. and this will take you to the final boss of the game. However, we are going to go ahead and make the trek back to the Hirata Audience Chamber. Now, remember, in order to have gotten the opportunity to do the fight that we're about to do, before you killed off the Divine Dragon, you had to have eavesdropped on Kuro. Once you eavesdrop on Kuro, you'll learn that he intends to kill himself in order to end the insanity, basically, that his blood has caused. And so, if you talk to Emma afterwards, she wants to prevent that, and you both kind of work together to try to prevent that. And one of the things that she does is she gives you Father's Owl Charm. Or, I'm sorry, Father's Bell Charm. And that unlocks an alternate version of the final sections of Hirata Estate. Now, we ended up killing the 2 mini-bosses in a previous episode for that, but because Owl himself is an endgame boss, we did leave him basically for the final couple of episodes of this. So I'm going to go ahead and travel to the Hirata Audience Chamber, and let's go ahead and tackle Owl now. Now, if this is too hard for you, you can definitely go for the final boss. Again, you can tackle either of them. In fact, any of the 3 final bosses you can tackle in any order. Just remember, don't talk to Kuro at the very end of the game after you finish the final boss without doing everything else, because that'll ensure that you don't progress the game to New Game Plus. It'll also make sure that you can pick which ending you're going to end up getting. So, as far as the fight against Owl, this is a very different fight from the last fight that we had against Owl. For starters, you want to make sure that you rest at this idol, because every time you die, if you forget to rest, you will spawn outside amongst all of the enemies, kind of leading up to your mini-boss that we fought previously. So I recommend make sure you remember to rest. Other than that, this boss has 2 phases. For the first phase, I'm primarily going to recommend the Ichimonji double for your combat art. If you want to use it, Suzaku's Umbrella, one of the loaded versions, would be a good idea. I'll go for Suzaku's Lotus Umbrella, though I don't think we're going to need it. Akko's Sugar wouldn't be a bad idea as well, in order to increase our attack power. But really, there are kind of 2 ways that you can tackle this boss. There is kind of a cheese strat that you can do. In fact, if you go look up Tyrannicon, he's another YouTuber who does Sekiro material. He basically does a bunch of videos on how to cheese bosses. He has a strat that basically allows you to hit this boss and run, hit this boss and run, but I'm not very good at dodging. And I've tried his strat both this time as well as the times in the past that I've attempted to beat this boss, and I just can't do it. I'm just not consistent enough to do it. So the way that I usually tackle this boss is to be extremely aggressive. Basically what we're looking to do is to swing at him twice or 3 times until he deflects, and then once he deflects, he's going to swing back at us. And then we'll go ahead and want to deflect that attack. And then he has one of a few different things that he will do right after that. He will either jump away, he will jump off your head away, he will try to do a perilous attack, which you can basically just keep attacking in order to interrupt. He will also attempt to throw, what do you call it? Firecrackers. He'll attempt to throw firecrackers in your face, which you can actually back off on and then nail him with an Ichimonji double. Or he may just simply go back into the routine of hitting you once, you hit him twice, and that. So it's as long as you stay on him, it's a very, in my opinion, predictable way to deal with him, and it keeps him from using most of his most deadly attacks in this fight. Otherwise, I am going to let you see all of his attacks. So I might end up dying just in this lead up before I decide to go ham on him, but as you walk in, he won't be aggressive until you talk to him. So this is his Mikiri, or this is his thrust attack. You can Mikiri counter that. He still does that, but if you run away to him, or dash to him, sorry, he will usually jump away, so you can't punish him that way anymore. Whenever he's doing that, you can step away and Ichimonji him. Again, make sure you counter that attack. So again, that's not punishable anymore like it was in our first fight. And again, if you're closer to him, he will do the kind of ground pound with the sword. Otherwise, he'll switch to that kind of spin attack. If you're closer to him with that, he'll do a jump and then pound the ground with his weapon. So that is one of the ways that you can avoid his attacks, is kind of run at him. Again, I'm not consistent with it, but that's one of the things that Tyrannicon tends to do. And then he'll get in a shot, or a thrust, he usually does, I think, and then backs off. So whenever he does this, again, you can punish him. But otherwise, I think let's go ahead and kill him. So, it's Papanako Sugar. Again, I'm going to be really aggressive. Whenever he does that, we're going to back off, go around him, and then we want to keep on him, and keep getting him to do that attack. Keep running up to him. Do not let him get off anything else but what we want him to get off. So as you'll see, he does not shoot you with shurikens. He will change that up in his second phase, though. But otherwise, that's going to be first phase Owl. So what I recommend now is that we switch over to the Mortal Draw, and that's because he has more evasion abilities this time. He's going to have an owl that he will basically disappear into, and then the owl will fly around. And while that's happening, his posture will end up regaining, basically. So what we want to do is we want to get in some damage to him first. That way his posture meter doesn't recover that quickly, because the lower health you're at, the faster your posture meter can be drained. So I'm going to try to get in probably between 75, or get him down to between 75 and 50% of his health with the Mortal Draw, kind of using the same techniques we've attempted to do so far. And then I'm going to switch to the Ichimonji double at that point, because again, it gives more posture damage. It also helps us recover our own. Beyond that, though, he has a few new attacks. One of his new attacks will be whenever he kick flips off of you, he will throw shurikens at you, just like he did in the first phase of the last fight. In addition, he will stand and kind of let the bird come to him, and then he'll shoot the bird at you. You know, flick you off. So he'll shoot the bird at you, it'll become like a phoenix, and you'll want to jump over that, or preferably to the side of it. And he'll almost always follow up that attack. Excuse me. He'll almost always follow up that attack with his thrust attack, the Shadow Rush. So be aware of that. Otherwise, we're going to tackle this fight very much the same way. Try to run away from him whenever he's in the air like that. He's going to do this a lot more, but again, use that opportunity to nail him. And I let him move I should have waited. Again, that's an opening for it. So he's now at the sweet spot. I'm going to switch back to Ichimonji double. There's the attack. Again, stay away from the bird whenever it's airborne. Again, use that opportunity. And he's dead. So again, play this fight super aggressive, and you should be able to nail him. So we got the memory, we got the aromatic flower, which is required for one of the endings. Not the best ending. Again, we did the divine child stuff to get the best ending, but that will give us one of the endings that are available to us. Which, when we get to that point, you'll actually get to pick which ones. So, if you've done this and you've already gotten one ending previously, you could do that. You could also kind of spam the endings by copying your save file off, doing one, bringing it back, doing the other. That way you can get the what do you call it? The platinum easier. Otherwise, though, we're going to go ahead and grab some more attack power. And that pretty much leaves us just with the final boss. So, in the next episode, we're going to focus on the final boss. But until then, thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Later.